It began with a sound that didn't belong, a low, rolling thunder drifting across the quiet hills of Maple Ridge, breaking the soft calm of a sunlit morning. A morning that felt like every other until that moment, when the world suddenly remembered what power sounded like. The town was slow to wake, a sleepy kind of place where change rarely came. The mailman still whistled down Main Street. The same stray dogs stretched in front of the bakery, and a light breeze moved through the open windows of Mara's Diner, the little roadside stop with its flickering neon sign that had seen better days. Then came the rumble, deep and heavy, echoing off the glass, making coffee cups tremble against their saucers. A sound that carried both danger and mystery. Heads turned, spoons froze midair, and in that pause, for motorcycles rolled into the gravel lot, black and silver under the rising sun, their engines growling like thunder that refused to fade. The front rode Rex Malone, tall, quiet, carved from stone, with eyes that held both distance and memory. A man whose silence said more than words ever could. A man whose name had traveled far beyond the roads he rode. People whispered about him. Some feared him, others respected him, but no one really knew him, not the man behind the scars or the weight he carried beneath the leather. Inside the diner, conversation faded into the hum of the ceiling fan, the clink of dishes now nervous and careful, and behind the counter, Mara steadied her breath. She was young, but life had already written stories behind her eyes. Her smile kind but tired, her movements quiet, almost invisible, like someone trying not to be noticed. She poured coffee, her hand trembling just enough to make the spoon rattle against the cup. And when the morning light hit her face, Rex saw it, a faint bruise near her jaw, half hidden under foundation, the kind of mark that no makeup could truly hide. That he didn't ask. He just looked, and in that look, something stirred. Inside him, something he'd buried long ago, a memory that tasted like regret. He'd once known someone with that same look in her eyes, someone he hadn't saved in time, and that wound had never healed. It had only hardened into silence. If this story moves you, keep watching, it only gets deeper. Across the counter, a harsh voice broke the quiet, the diner's manager barking orders, his tone sharp enough to cut through the room, and Mara flinched without even thinking. He was a heavy man, red-faced, with the kind of smirk that fed on fear, and when he passed her, he shoved her shoulder hard enough to make her spill a bit of coffee. She whispered an apology, small, fragile, unnecessary, but he only sneered. "You're always sorry," he said, voice dripping with mockery. "Maybe try getting it right next time." The few customers in the room looked away, pretending not to hear, but Rex didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. He just watched, his jaw tightening as something old and dangerous began to waken him. Mara disappeared into the kitchen, and the sound of her footsteps faded, replaced by laughter from Rex's crew. Though he didn't join in, his thoughts were already elsewhere. That night, in his garage on the edge of town, Rex sat under a flickering light, rows of bikes gleaming in the dim glow, tools scattered across the workbench, the air thick with the smell of oil and gasoline. His brothers were there too, joking, playing music low on the radio, but Rex barely heard them. His mind kept circling back to that diner, to that bruise, to her eyes when she said she was fine. He remembered how it felt to look away once before, how it had cost him someone he loved, and he made himself a quiet promise he wouldn't look away again. When morning came, the sky stretched pale and gold across Maple Ridge, sunlight spilling over the asphalt, and Mara arrived early, hoping for a calm start. But the moment she saw the motorcycles lined up outside, her heart jumped. The chrome caught the light, gleaming like mirrors of fire, and inside, Rex sat waiting, calm, still, like the storm before the rain. She hesitated by the door, smoothed her apron, and walked in, the smell of coffee and pancakes thick in the air. "Coffee?" she asked, her voice light, careful. Rex nodded. "You okay?" She blinked, caught off guard, forcing a smile. "Of course, I'm fine." But her smile trembled, Her voice wavered, and when she turned to go, Rex spoke again, quietly, gently, but with a weight that reached straight to her heart. "You don't have to lie," he said. "I've seen that look before." Her hand froze midair, the coffee pot shaking just slightly. Then the silence broke her. Her shoulders fell, and tears slipped down before she could stop them. The sound was small, but it filled the room. The manager came out from the back, voice raised, ready to shout, "What's going on here?" But Rex stood up, slow, steady, every movement deliberate, and one by one, the bikers behind him rose too, the scrape of chairs echoing like thunder rolling through the diner. Rex didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His calm was louder than anger, his stare stronger than any shout. "You think hurting someone weaker makes you powerful," he said, his tone even, his eyes fixed. "It doesn't, it just makes you small." The man's mouth opened, then closed again, his confidence draining fast as he looked at the row of men behind Rex, unblinking, unshaken. "You're done?" Rex said softly. "Walk away." The manager hesitated, cursed under his breath, and stormed out, the door swinging hard behind him, the bell above it chiming one last, weak note. The silence that followed was heavy but clean, the kind that comes right after a storm passes. Mara stood there, tears on her cheeks, voice barely a whisper. "Thank you." Rex shook his head. "Don't thank me. Just promise you won't hide anymore." And for the first time, her smile reached her eyes. "Before you go, wait till you hear what happens next. It will stay with you." By sundown, the story had already spread, through whispers and phone calls, across grocery lines and porch steps, the whole town of Maple Ridge buzzing with one question. "Did you hear what those bikers did at the diner?" For years, people had called Rex Malone and his crew outlaws, rough men from rough roads. But now, the story sounded different. They were no longer the danger. They were the shield in the weeks that followed. The Iron Saints began showing up in ways no one expected, organizing rides for food banks, delivering supplies to shelters, raising money for families who'd lost everything, and slowly, the town's fear began to melt into respect. Mara left her job at the diner, found work at a new cafe across town, small and warm, owned by a woman who treated her like family, and every now and then, the familiar rumble of engines would roll down the street, and Rex would stop by for coffee. They talked quietly, never about that day, just about small things, weather, roads, life. But between them, there was a quiet understanding, the kind that didn't need words. She'd smile, steady now, whole again, and Rex would nod, the unspoken truth sitting between them, that sometimes saving someone else is the first step to saving yourself. Months passed, seasons changed, and one golden evening, Mara stood outside her cafe as the sun sank behind the hills, painting the town in soft amber light. She heard it before she saw it, that familiar thunder on the wind, the low steady rhythm of 4 engines rolling past, and there he was, Rex Malone, leading the way. His hand lifted in quiet salute as they passed. She smiled, her eyes bright, her heart full, and in that moment she understood something that would stay with her forever, that kindness doesn't always come softly. Sometimes it roars in on 2 wheels, wrapped in leather, carrying scars, and a heart that has learned what pain really means. The sound of the engines faded into the hills, replaced by the hush of evening wind, and for the first time, the town felt different, lighter, safer, better. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of courage, one person who refuses to stay silent, one moment when strength chooses compassion instead of control. And in that small diner on that quiet day, kindness finally spoke louder than fear. If the story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom, where we bring real stories of courage, compassion, and second chances. And tell us in the comments, do you believe even the toughest hearts can still be kind? Because sometimes, kindness doesn't whisper, it roars.